You want to help me make a video, Brian? You don't want to say nothing to the YouTube people? No?
Check it out.
You going to tell these people what we're doing today? What are we doing to the car today?
Painting it.
Painting it?
Yeah?
Yeah. You want to show them what we did so far?
Yeah.
What did we do so far? We sanded.
Yeah.
Then we cut. Clean. Air dry.
Air dry. Yeah.
Taped off.
Taped off.
Now we ready to spray. That's it. Alright, y'all, so this is what we got right now. We got one coat on. Doesn't look too bad. We'll go ahead and let this thing dry and then see if any of the that crazy like 90s style splatter paint job peeks through. And then we'll go back over it, touch up any spots. I'm thinking I might do these inner fenders while I'm here. I mean, there are some bare metal right there showing we could just clean up for the time being. I mean, obviously it's not a huge big deal. I mean, that side's sprayed at one point, but the main thing was just go ahead and get this bay one color so we can get the steering rack back in, the clutch pedal and brakes, all that assembly's back in play, because I finally got me a bolt to fit the clutch pedal, so now it'll have a stopper on it. And then once we get that stuff done, we can start working on getting the motor assembled, and then we'll be able to now slide it right into place. And rock and roll, man. It's always nice when you see progression. Okay, so just like I predicted, a lot of that white and yellow splatter paint peeked through. I tell you one thing I will never do, guys, and this stuff right here, this undercoat stuff, I'll never use this shit again. And it probably was because of the weather. It says under 85% humidity. I checked the weather yesterday, it was like 93. And when I came in here, this spot right here was still wet. That corner down there is still a little wet. That looks wet. But when we sprayed it last night, we sat here for like 4 hours and it was still wet. I mean, the entire thing. And I was like, man, this sucks. Oh, you can see right here, that's a nice, look at that. And this thing's been sitting here for 24 hours since it's been painted. I'll tell you what, if there's something that you want to do to your engine bay or anything, you better have some patience, because this shit sucks. And it could have been, like I said, the way that the humidity and shit was, the weather, it could have fucked me. But it's no big deal. But I want to go over a few things. So normally they tell you, you gotta do all these spot welds. I didn't want to deal with spot welds. It's just me. So what I ended up doing was right around here, and then they actually had this intact here. So I just took a grinder and slowly went under it and just kind of grinded at it until I noticed that it broke through. The only other spot that you will have is you will have a spot right here on both sides, on this end and then on that lip right there. You'll have a spot weld there. Once you get those, all I did was just kind of like hack it off right here. And then once I did that, you have this little lip that kind of like overlays. And so I just took it and just cut right here at the top. And then on the back side, you'll see like where this is like spot welded together. And it'll obviously stick way out here. And I just went along that line from the inside. I just went down straight down as best I could. And obviously left this piece on out there. I mean, you could spot weld, remove all that shit to remove it if it bothers you. If you wanted to put something on the face of it. Now, the only reason why I didn't want to do all that is because these threaded holes here, there's like a nut that's like welded to the inside of it. Once you remove these spot welds, this whole plate will separate, and you won't have these holes anymore, or the thread part at least. And I have that crash bar that goes on the front that mounts, and I still want to mount that. Especially now that there is no support here, I definitely want that mount, that whole brace put back on. So I'm just going to leave it just like that. It's good enough. There's plenty of clearance now to get the motor in and out. We were thinking and talking about building our own tubular support, but I've actually found one from Archangel Fabrication. Check them out. The guy does some pretty awesome work. I followed him on Instagram and messaged him. Told me 500 shipped from anywhere. If you go look at anybody else, you're looking at like $650 to like almost $1,000 damn near for one of those, you know, with the shipping and all that. Because I think there's another company in New York, I can't remember offhand, but theirs are like over 700, and I don't think that includes the shipping. So there's not really too many people that make them, unless you know like a personal fabricator. There's a couple guys local here that would make them, but you got to take the car to them. It's nice just to have that template and just make them. Only thing that it doesn't come with is obviously your hood pin area, so you just kind of put it in, figure out where you want to mount them, have some little tabs welded on that bar, and you know, bolt it in yourself. But it comes with all the headlight support stuff, and it bolts right into like the factory location, so it's not the end of the world. So I like that. That's pretty slick to me. So in time, I will order one. I asked them where the information, so if I don't hear nothing back in another day, they do have an email on their Instagram that you can actually email. They're like, I think it's a Gmail account. So I'm gonna try that. You know, obviously I'm probably bothering them just messages through the Instagram account. You know, most people don't like to reply on there. They have, especially if they have a business, they have a lot of shit going on. They might answer, you know, a couple of little stupid questions and stuff, but they really want you to send it to their email address, any inquiries, messages, and shit like that. And so that's probably going to be my next step. But the car is getting done. It's moving, man. It's moving more than I thought it would. It don't look like it, but believe me, man, I'm busting my ass as much as I can every weekend. Try to get this car going. So now what the plan is, like I said, that shit's stuck. I'm going to let it sit here for a little bit. Hopefully it'll dry a little better. But now, same company, but this is truck bed coating. And I think this was the same stuff that I used when I did my intercooler piping. So, if that's the case, that stuff comes out real. And I kind of wanted to use the rubber undercoat, and I'll tell you why. A lot of people claim that when you use a like truck bed liner, especially like roll-on or whatever, that a lot of times it will hold moisture. And when it holds the moisture, then what happens? You have a tendency to create rust. And the rubber is so nice looking that you don't notice that the underneath of it is rotting away until it actually rots away. And that kind of sucks. But I'm just going off of what I've heard. You know, people saying the problems. And it could just be like the actual Rhino liner shit. I don't know. That comes out the gun. I don't know. But I'm not going to take that chance. So yeah, so I'm just going to, I opened the doors finally in the garage. Just got over here about an hour ago. Ate some lunch. I'm just going to let this thing marinate for a little bit. Let some of that heat from the outside come in. Hopefully dry this a little better. And then I'm going to put the second coat, but I'm going to use obviously the bed liner stuff. And then see what we got from there. Now, once that's all I'm going to do today. It's all about this weekend prepping this thing, sanding it, cleaning it, drying it, wiping it down, all that shit to try to get as many impurities and oil and grease or whatever I can get out of it. And then I'm just going to spray it. All right, that's it. Finally got it done. So I guess we'll let this dry for the whole week because I really ain't going to have time to come back over here. But next weekend, I'll come back over and I'll start to put the steering rack back in. And after that's in, I can go ahead and put the booster delete kit with the new master. Maybe start running the brake lines. But that's really about it. I think that's going to go in this engine bay. Maybe put the catch can maybe in there. But that probably go last. Maybe just have it just sitting in there so I get an idea what things are going to look like as we progress. I might end up doing that delete for the wiper cowl area think I might do that the same bed liner stuff, all black like that. And then figure out a way. I actually found some of those nutserts, the M6s that I've been looking for. So I might cut these holes out a little bigger with a drill, and then put the nutserts in there, and then bolt that actually on there. And then once I can do that, I'll probably silicone it in place. And I also want to see how some of the spots are touching the window and some weren't. So I might have to sand the back side a little bit to get a nice even edge. And then I'll put tape on it, and then I'll silicone it in. And then that way that whole thing will be nice and sealed. I won't have to worry about water. That's why I kind of put this little rigged up aluminum foil. There's a bag, rags, tape, all kind of stuff in there to stop water from coming in where the actual fan used to go, the blower motor. So, yep, that's it for the week. I came over here this weekend and sanded and cleaned and did everything that I needed to do to get this thing where it needs to be. And ready to rock and roll, man. Catch you on the next one.